This episode is brought to you by CBS. DMV is a brand new workplace comedy turning misery into magic and chaos into comedy. Starring Harriet Dyer and Tim Meadows, DMV is here to serve you laughs. Watch Mondays at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Welcome to People Tech, the podcast of the HCM Technology Report. I'm Mark Pfeffer. My guest today is Giordano, an HR business partner manager for Pipefy. They optimize business processes to help every team member organize and control their work in a single place. They also help streamline and automate processes and integrate legacy tools without the need to write code. We're going to talk about new tools making their way into HR tech, the challenge of juggling multiple business lines, and the importance of process, all on this edition of People Tech. Hi, Giordano. Welcome. So what exactly does Pipefy do?
Okay, cool. Pipefy is like a workflow management software. So it streamlines and automates business processes through low-code automation, and this is important to state. And therefore, it allows teams like in less technical departments, for example, HR, procurement, right, to optimize their processes within guardrails from IT. So basically, it empowers teams to go ahead and do more for themselves without needing IT.
Could you give me a little bit more detail about how your tools connect with HR? I mean, you offer CRM tools, for example, and you offer talent acquisition tools. It seems like there's a lot of overlap between them. So is there, and is that why you offer them, both?
That's a great question. Yeah, the processes, they are all connected. We can connect all of those pipes, as we call them, right? So, for example, the HR department has lots of like repetitive, tedious tasks. For example, sending welcoming letters and updating employees' statuses, routing signatures, and whatever those tasks are. So what we want to do is we want to connect lots of HR areas, such as payroll, compensation, recruiting, training, and finding the best employee experience. So for example, when a person joins, all the recruitment process happens through Pipefy. And then whenever they actually do join, there is a card that goes straight to payroll. So it's all interconnected. And the same card will go to the onboarding pipe. So it's like a systemic experience.
You could argue that there's a certain breadth there. You're doing CRM, you're doing talent acquisition, you've got your fingers in a couple of other, areas too. If I was cynical, I could argue that requires everybody in the company to be running in a lot of different directions. So do you think that this, this breadth, is it a strength or a weakness or a challenge, or how do you look at it?
Cool. I think it's a strength because we're talking about a local platform here. So it doesn't require this great knowledge. So people would easily be able to use the tool, right? And I don't know if I would say that people would run in different directions because of the interconnection between them. So what we want to do is integrate the workflows along the areas. So as the more integration we have, the happier we would be.
So zeroing in on HR a bit, could you tell me how does Pipefy fit into HR? You've touched on it before, but could you give me a little more detail?
Of course, sure. So I was talking about those repetitive tasks. Yeah. So this is one of the main points, right? So what we do with this local automation too is we're able to streamline those tedious tasks, right? Such as payroll processing, managing employee requests, allowing HR and people operations team to focus more on employee experience. So with them not having to deal with all of those repetitive tasks anymore, there is more room for people to focus on employee experience and dedicate more time to other things that don't require and do not demand so much time as they did before.
So another thing that you folks emphasize is
Yeah.
low code tools. So could you talk about that? I mean, how does it factor into your commercial thinking, your business philosophy and, what you give to your customers?
Yeah, of course. Well, low code is like it's being used more frequently, like as organizations face challenges like the shortage in IT workers, right? Like the need to lean on technical resources to support digital transformation efforts. So what I'd say is that when we implement this low code tool, it definitely simplifies the complexity that comes with customization. So it enables processes consistency across the organization. It's going to increase agility through accelerated development and deployment, and it's also going to contain costs. So I think those are some important things when we talk about low code.
Welcome to Don't Retire, Graduate, the podcast that asks you what you want to be when you grow up so you can graduate into retirement with a purpose and a passion, whether you're 25, 85, or any age in between. Gain actionable financial and mindset tips from your favorite authors, podcasters, and influencers to help you reach that exciting next chapter. Listen now and start building your path to financial freedom and reframing what retirement can mean to you. This is your host, Eric Brotman, reminding you, don't retire, graduate.
A lot of people think initially that low code is kind of like about the citizen developer, that I could, use it to code, which I couldn't. Do you have to do a lot of education about that and, a lot of hand holding because of what low code actually is?
Yeah, I don't see that a lot in Pipefy because it's very intuitive. So people get the hang of it easily. So we do have, of course, have training and there is the platform implementation and everything, but we normally get feedback about people do not needing so much time to get the hang of it.
When we talk about the people using it, are they, technology professionals more often than not?
That's a great question. When we're thinking about the HR vertical, for example, we're not talking about HR professionals. So we're talking about enabling the HR team to use a platform by themselves. And this is like a great thing because with the shortage in IT and with HR always having to depend on IT, it brings a new context. It brings like a new reality in which the HR team can go ahead and do everything by themselves, per se.
Now, a couple of years ago, 2018, 2019, there was a lot of talk about low code. Mm-hmm. And it seems to have quieted down a bit since COVID. What do you think's going on? Did interest sort of wane during COVID and it has to come back, or did the dynamics of development change, or what's doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. Like when I think of like how it's evolving, where it's like moving forward right now, I think that the demand for software is like outpacing the number of developers. This is a first thing. So low code adoption is expected to continue to increase. I think it's going to keep on increasing as it's the only way an organization can like meet growing technical demands on top of like limited talent pool. So it gives this liberty to organizations. And based on that, I definitely think it's going to keep on improving. And I have read this article recently that says it's going to grow like 20% in 2023.
Was that the reason that you got into it? I mean, there's a lot of companies that do something like what you do. I'm not, you've got competitors out there, and there's just a lot of technology businesses. Not all of them are signing up with low code. So exactly. What was the thinking behind you doing it?
I think the thinking was empowering the people that are going to use the tool. So if I am talking about a person using the tool in the HR vertical, I want to empower that person. And then giving this local perspective, this person is going to be easily empowered, like much more than if it was a different situation. So the thinking behind it and our mission is to actually empower people when automating those workflows.
My last question is, just kind of like one of these look around you and tell me what you think questions, but what is the most interesting, most promising technology or technology movement that's out in the world today?
It's a good question. When I stop to think about it, like, I think the move is in this empowerment, because as we're talking about a situation where we did not have people needing to depend on the IT area for everything, we get to this new reality, like I said before. So I don't necessarily know it's like the new biggest movement, but I think it's a very important movement, and like not having people depend on IT anymore to be able to automate whatever workflows they want in whatever areas we're talking about, HR, procurement, right? I think this is the case.
Well, thank you very much. It was great to meet you, and I appreciate your coming by.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
My guest today has been Giordano Perli, the HR Business Partner Manager at Pipefy. And this has been People Tech, the podcast of the HCM Technology Report. We're a publication of Recruiting Daily. We're also a part of Evergreen Podcasts. To see all of their programs, visit www.evergreenpodcasts.com. And to keep up with HR technology, visit the HCM Technology Report every day. We're the most trusted source of news in the HR tech industry. Find us at www.hcmtechnologyreport.com. I'm Mark Pfeffer.
Faith in the news media has been challenged, making it even harder to get stories told. The Friday Reporter podcast was created to help audiences better understand the media by hosting journalists who will answer the questions to which we need answers. Join me every Friday to hear more.
Do you love news about LinkedIn, Indeed, Google, and just about every other recruitment tech company out there?
Hell yeah. I'm Chad.
I'm Cheese.
We're the Chad and Cheese Podcast.
All the latest recruiting news and insights are on our show.
Dripping in snark and attitude.
Subscribe today wherever you listen to your podcasts.
We out.